you would prefer that?
I think we're going to see it happen. I mean, I know we're going to do it, but every club kind of values their rotation or their pitching staffs differently. I mean, I think it's fair to say, like, if you look at what the Astros, Red Sox that had a very veteran group of pitchers, 1 through 5, that might be a little challenging to do that with the bullpen. But it was kind of the perfect storm for us, and the fact that we had so many young guys coming up, transitioning, and I think ultimately it helped both. It helped the guys that left Durham as starters, graduated to the big leagues, and then it also helped some of those short inning relievers start.
So it was more of a choice than a necessity.
Oh, it was definitely a choice. Yeah, it was talked about, planned about. Now, I think where the choice changed and necessity came in was when the injuries started. When we lost Nate Eovaldi at the beginning of the year, or had his season, cut early, and then we had to wait for the rehab. Everything kind of jammed up on us, but our young guys did a tremendous job of filling in, and it allowed us to some more flexibility.
So when you're judging a guy who's from Durham or Montgomery coming up, what do you look for in a guy who you think can be an opener as opposed to a guy who maybe cannot with regard to mentality stuff, things like that?
Well, I mean, I think in a perfect world, you try to complement the opener with the length guy that follows in. So the best example is probably, like a guy like Ryan Stanek coming in that throws, very hard, high velocity, and then you complement him with a guy like Ryan Yarbrough, who's left-handed and uses a pitch mix to navigate his way through a lineup. Now, you're not always going to have that, but there's no doubt we are convinced that different looks through an order, challenging lineups, gives us a good chance.
Were you skeptical about it, and how did your thinking change through the years?
I personally was not skeptical at all when we were discussing doing it, one time through the rotation, potentially twice. Then with the injuries, when it got to 3 and 4 times, I don't know if skeptical is the right word. It's more concerning. Like, how are we going to keep guys fresh? How are we going to, manage workloads in a long series? But we learned a lot through it, and I think now ultimately the players give you the buy-in, and we had success with it. They embraced it, they enjoyed it, and it's a big credit to them.
How did you get them to buy-in?
I think, a lot of communication by the staff. Kyle Snyder and Stan Borowski, our bullpen coach, did an outstanding job of communicating with them, making them understand this is not a gimmick. We were confident that this is going to help us win games. And, I think a lot of guys, they're starters their entire career from the time they're 10 years old, high school, college, pro ball, and they pride themselves on going, logging innings, and staying out there as long as they can. Well, we look at that's a great mindset to have, but if we can do something better for the team and give different looks on a consistent basis, we found that it was more challenging for the opposition, the lineup.
So now that you have more data really than any team in baseball concerning this, what's your takeaway as you reevaluate what you guys accomplished?
Going forward?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to do it. I think right now we're discussing internally whether we do it 2 times through the rotation or 3 times through the rotation. But the nice thing is we got all that information last year, and we have a bunch of candidates that we can fill in as a traditional starter if need be. Yanni Trinos, Yarbs, Wilmer Font, Jalen Binks, all those guys have starting experience. And if we need the flexibility to put them back in that traditional role a time or 2, we can do that. But I'm very confident that we're going to be doing it 3 or definitely 2, potentially 3 times through the rotation to start the season.
What do you take away from a season like this where you had so much change, so much youth, and you wanted to win 90? Did it change your way you think about managing or building a roster or anything?
Those guys, our players, I think they energized our organization. They energized our staff, our fan base. You never know when you put that type of youth at the big league level all to come in at one time. You never know what's going to happen. And I think just the experience alone of those guys getting the 250 at-bats or the 100 innings at the big league level, we'll take it whether it was good or bad. We were very fortunate that they all came up and played well together, won together, and made us feel pretty good going into the offseason.
What's the biggest concern with bullpenning? What's the biggest fear, or the biggest gamble or risk, or whatever you want to call it?
I think, Well, you really rely on the Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, those traditional starters to really have success and take on a pretty big workload. And you don't want to put added pressure on those guys because they're already good, but you don't want them to feel that they got to do more than what they're capable of to allow us the flexibility of the next days. When we do bullpen or open guys.